Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the November 15th North Augusta Planning Commission meeting. All right, it is 7 o'clock, so we will start. Let's do roll call first, and then I'll go over how we proceed with public hearing.
Timothy Key.
Rhett Harbison. Bob Bigger.
Jesse Elliott.
Lynn Carter.
Chelsea Waddell.
Okay, and I'm your chair, Christine Crawford. Let's have the approval of the October 18th study session and regular meeting minutes in which Vice Chair Bigger stood in my stead. And so thank you for your service during that time. All right, so if I could please have, are there any corrections or notations? If not, I'd like a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. Second.
So for the approval of both the study session and the regular meeting minutes, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, so we're going to go to the confirmation of the agenda. And one of the things that I would like to share is that on the public hearing notice that was taped to the door and was a part of the packet, you'll see there was PD 23-003 Moore's Bluff, I'm tongue twisted, excuse me. That application was pulled by the developer, so that will not be heard tonight. It is not on the agenda. For those who saw the agenda on the front window as you were coming in. So the public hearing notice was sent out for Moore's Bluff, and the developer unfortunately pulled that application, so we will not be hearing that at this time. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Do we have anything else, Mr. Paradise, that you would like to share about the agenda?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. That being said, we'll start with RZM 23-002.
Madam Chairman, this is a request by Hickson Realty to rezone approximately .29 acres located on Carolina Avenue from R7 small lot, single-family residential to R5 mixed use. This is the subject property here. You'll see, if you look to the, on the slide to the left, you will notice the darker brown, as I would call it, to the south of it or to the bottom. That would be, those are currently apartments now. So this parcel is contiguous to an R5 zoning district. The lighter brown is zoned R7, and then in the triangle there is commercial, and across Martintown Road would be the shopping center. This gives you another overview there with its proximity to Martintown Road and Carolina Avenue and that intersection. And this is .29 acres. This is just a boundary plat that was included with the application. And what the developer would like to do is, instead of coming on this lot and building 4, maybe 5, but he could do 4 single-family attached homes. He can do that by right on this parcel. He looked at it, we talked about it, and he said, you know, what if we divided it up? And so he's asking for it to be rezoned, and I think Mr. Hickson can explain this better than I can. He has a buyer in line that is willing to purchase it and move forward with this plan. So this is kind of somebody, a developer we know. Yeah, so there's some credibility there that he'll move forward with the plan as he's submitted to us. But anyway, to get the lot width and the density to do the 3 units, he could not do that in an R7. he needs the R5 so he could have the 25-foot lot widths. And what he'll end up with is about 33 and a third to 34 feet of frontage, and be 3 cottage-type homes, single-family detached, instead of the attached housing that he could by right doing the R7. And from the planning standpoint, this is kind of a nice segue from your denser apartments to, then you have smaller detached family, and then you go to the old, more established neighborhood. Yeah, any questions?
Any questions? All right, so we're going to open it up to the applicant, which will then be followed by comments from the public. So if you could please come forward, and this is the instruction for everyone, to please give your name and address, and then what we will do is we'll open up for the public comment section after the applicant has presented and commissioners have had a chance to ask any questions. We'll ask that all those from the public who ask your question or make your comment, and then we will ask the applicant back up at one time to respond to everyone's comments. And we ask, again, that the public, share new information, new perspectives when they step to the lectern if your neighbor has said something that you have agreed with, but then also allow as many people as possible to speak. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me tonight. I'm Bill Hickson. I own Hickson Insurance and Realty. Lifelong resident of North Augusta. We've had this lot for sale for way over a year. And the present zoning would be like we talked about for little houses. I've never found anyone that would even want to make an offer on this house, on the lot. We had it priced at $95,000, but no one would even make an offer to put a single-family home there. When you look at this area, it's the perfect example of what the city would like for us to do is infill. And this lot has sat there, 66. It's sat there since I went back to 1946. And it's been a lot. It's never been anything but a lot. And the owner of it is Mr. Charlie Britt and his family. And it's been in his family all Charlie's life. And so it's just been a vacant lot. But it's sort of I call it an orphan lot. It sits there by itself. You have apartments on one side. You have a big shopping center across the street from it. And also you have an insurance agency on the corner there. It's different because it's surrounded by all kind of commercial property. And my builder and the owner wanting to buy it is Mr. Don Adams. He's sitting with us and his builder. And this is the plan that we came up with that he would be willing to put there. And these townhouses would be owned. People would live in them. They would not be rentals. And the property price point is in the high 2s or the low 3s, 100,000. Being here all my life, North Augusta has changed, and you see a lot of people wanting a townhouse which will have no yard. The bedroom would be on the bottom, which y'all probably saw in your plans, and it would be very accommodating for seniors or anyone really that didn't want to climb steps, and they have bedrooms downstairs. But when I look at the planning material that I was handed, this doesn't affect any of the streets. It doesn't affect any of the surrounding areas. It doesn't affect water and sewer. And one of the priorities I saw in our planning and zoning material was infill. And this lot is set there forever, and nothing's ever been built on it. And like I said, we had it for sale for over a year, and we had no buyers to put a single-family home there. And so I'm here to tell you, as you've seen it, and everybody travels up down Carolina Avenue like I do, it sits there. It's been there for a long time, and I was fortunate enough to be able to list it and try to sell it. And I tried to do the best job that I could do, but nobody wanted to put a single-family house there. And so this was the plans that I talked my builder into putting there, Don Adams, and this was the plans that we came up with. And we sat and met with Mr. Paradise several times and his staff, and went back to the drawing board several times. And this is what we came up with. And so I'm here today to ask for you to zone it from R7 to R5.
Thank you, Mr. Hickson. Are there any questions of the commissioners for Mr. Hickson at this point? No question? Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We'll open it up for public comment now. So if there are any comments from the public, please come forward. Again, say your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Phyllis Crater. I live at 1152 Carolina Avenue. I live right next door to the house that is for sale at 1150 Carolina Avenue, and then this vacant lot is one property down. Rezoning this property from R7 to R5 would definitely have an impact on my home. We moved here, my husband and Steve and I moved here from North Carolina, excuse me, I'm nervous.
Take your time.
North Carolina 3 years ago to be close to our daughter and grandchildren. And we chose this area because it's so convenient to everything for retired people. You know, we're a mile from a ball field, a beautiful little downtown. I can go across the street to the bank and the dentist and anywhere I want to be in just about 5 minutes. Our house came out of an estate and had not been lived in for about 9 years when we bought it. No one was living in Mr. Britt's house then or now. And our yard was grossly overgrown, but when we looked at the house, we decided that it had potential. And so for the last 3 years, we have been working on that house. And we have it now. You can even see the house from Carolina Avenue or West Avenue when we bought it. You can now. We are finishing up renovating the inside with the last bathroom this week. So, so this means a lot to us. It's not, those are really nice looking, you know, but what bothers me is that they want to build 3 on 0.29 acres. The house between us is sitting on I believe 4 or 5 acres. And my fear is that if you rezone this to R5, as soon as Mr. Britt sells that house, somebody's going to come in there and just bulldoze it. And then we're going to be back in here asking for another rezoning. And then there will be probably 6 homes on this half-acre lot and 3 homes down here. And then I'll have 9 or 10 homes right next to me, which I can't believe would help the value of my property. So I'm asking you all to keep the integrity of the neighborhood to one-family dwellings. There are drawbacks, of course, of living where we do. Martintown Road is busy. The shopping center across the street. There are some older homes that are rentals that are not kept up as well as they should be. But the architecture, there's so many different architectural styles in the neighborhood. And as these homes are coming up for sale, it appears they're being bought and they're being renovated. So I would just ask you to have great care in what you do in changing that from R7 to R5. If the lot next to me is changed to R5, that means that multiple homes can come right up to my property line, according to what I found out. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Charlie Britt. And anybody that doesn't.
Your
know-
address, I'm sorry, Mr. Britchett, you need to give your address, please.
I'm sorry?
You need to give your address for,
1150 Carolina Avenue is what we're talking about. And I don't see how that particular layout, if you have it in front of you, I don't see how that could have affected the dear lady, and bless her heart, that just spoke to you. I don't see how there is any way that anything that these plans that you saw would in any way impact her house. Next to her is a business, on the other side, business. That business doesn't affect her house. In other words, that's a point that doesn't have to be proven. And I can understand what her, concerns might be, but trust me, it's not going to be any different for her than it is now. It's going to be exactly the same, except you'll have the house, or the houses, ever how the gentleman, the terrific gentleman that's going to do that. So I don't even see why this is a controversy. I mean, if you know where this house is, some of you might have even been in the house where I live. It's like, it's there and it's pleasant and it's fine. And so is West Avenue right behind it. This lot goes all the way to West Avenue. And so there's been no problem with anything that we had the concern just a moment ago from this microphone. And I don't see how that's a problem. And like I said, bless her heart, and I understand that she would be protecting something. But if there's a business right next door to her, which there is, I don't understand how that has impacted her in any way, or she wouldn't have either purchased the house or wouldn't be there if that was the deal. And I don't have any negative plans against her, any kind of anything. I'm just saying that the lot there is for sale. This kind of property go on it perfectly and wonderfully, and that's what it's going to be. And it's not going to be any different. You got apartments, but there's a lot. The next thing is the apartments. Those apartments haven't hurt anybody. They've been there all this time. And I'm sure at the time when they were going to put up the apartments, that there must have been some negative talk about the homeowners around there, down West Avenue and all that. But it's been there all this year, and it's been no problem for anybody all these time. And I'm not trying to be some kind of loudmouth. I was never even going to make a statement until I heard all the things that were supposed to be negative that are not negative. I mean, it's not going to bother anybody in that neighborhood. Okay, that's it. Make sense to you? All right, thanks a lot for letting me get up here without assassinating me or something, okay? I don't want to be the lead show on the news tonight.
all right. Are there any other public comments? There being none, we offer the applicant an opportunity to respond at one time. And Ms. Paradise, I'm sorry, did you want to say something first?
Yes, ma'am. I did just want to mention that normally, a developer looks and says, how many units? I'm going to use, it's going to sound derogatory, but how many can I fit in here? What's the maximum number I can fit in here? And in this particular case, it's zoned R7. So right now, today, he could go to an engineer and come back and put 4 single-family attached dwelling units on that lot as it sits today. In this case, he after we talked, he said, "Let me think about this a minute." He came back with this plan and actually cut 25% or cut a unit out, which is not something that we see very often. They're not, these are detached homes, single-family homes. So I'm not meaning to advocate, it may sound like it, but I'm just trying to tell you the facts of kind of what it could be done, because if you don't, if it's not rezoned, and they come in with single-family attached, it's a minor subdivision, it doesn't come to y'all because of the number of lots involved. And the next thing the neighborhood knows is they're building single-family attached. And what happened? So I just wanted to lay that out there for y'all and for the public so they understand the difference is on the record.
Thank you, Mr. Paradise. All right. Mr. Hickson, did you have any other response or any? Okay. All right. Well, then we will open it up for discussion, and if there are any subsequent questions for Mr. Hickson, we'll ask him to come forward.
Just for clarification, to further expand on what you were talking about on the subject lot, Ms. Crater's concern was potentially that house between her and the subject lot being sold. It is, again, also currently zoned R7, but based on the size of that lot, if, again, somebody were to buy that lot from, I guess, Mr. Britt's the current owner of it, is that lot only allowed, I mean, somebody could come in without coming to zoning and put 4 apartments on that as it is now, or could they put more than that?
Well,
Or
it would be, that lot isn't in play, it isn't
Right.
part of this application. So on the lot next door, they could put single-family attached there by right. I would have to look at the plat, to figure out how many units they could put in there, and the engineer develop, all the things that has to go in. Which you figure it's probably at least 100 feet wide as well, so that'd probably be another 4. If they were to come in with this, want to redo the plan like this, and put single-family attached there, they would need to get it rezoned again, which would be another public hearing before y'all. And, of course, y'all just make a recommendation on the rezoning, so it goes to city council from here. But that would be a separate application. But yes, if they wanted to tear the building down and put single-family attached on that lot, that would be allowed in the R7.
thanks for that clarification.
Any other comments or discussion?
Just one other question. Is the only access point is to Carolina, correct? There's no access point to west.
Correct.
In this rendering, did y'all do y'all due diligence for getting in your garage? Is that a single car garage?
I believe it is. I really didn't look into it that well. There's a single car garage that counts as a parking space and a parking space behind it.
In the write-up, it was saying it will go through the proper channels as far as parking and curb cuts and everything.
Yes, sir.
So you look good from the rendering.
Yes, sir. It's nothing that the planning department doesn't have an issue with it. If that's the question, I don't want to say I recommend it. I try
Yeah.
to stay neutral.
Yeah.
But we certainly see no issues with this application. We see it, to be quite frank, as better than what they could do. Having the 3 detached homes, in the planning department's viewpoint, is better than having 4 attached homes. We have a lot of attached housing in the city. I hear people complain about that all the time. We've got too much of it. This is a chance to have a little bit of detached housing with less density than what they could.
Just to make a comment, in reviewing it prior to the meeting, and the lot having been empty for quite some time, so what is the highest and best use? Either lower the price down to its, till you just unload it, or look at some alternatives. And this seems favorable. I know oftentimes we look at density and detached or attached. I think the detached is favorable. And oftentimes, in a larger lot, or a single family home on one lot, it appears that it's going to affect your value. But in all honesty, having been on the planning commission for quite some time, I've not seen that phenomenon to happen. And if I was a young person moving into the area and I had the older home that was being renovated, getting it up to snuff, choosing a closer detached home, I think the home that's on the lot will be more inviting. So, having said that, I would be in favor of the zoning change.
All right, is that a motion or?
I can put it in the form of motion.
Well, let me see,
I was waiting if anyone else would.
is there any other comments, and then we can put it in motion and also discuss after.
Okay.
No other comments?
In regards to RZM 23-002, a request by Hickson Realty to rezone approximately .29 acres located on Carolina Avenue from R7 small lots to single-family residential to R5 mixed residential. I'd like to make a motion that we approve, make a recommendation to City Council for the rezoning.
R5, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, any further conversation? There being none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right, thank you all. Thank you for coming. All right. So next up on the agenda is the Development Code Rewrite Review. All right. So, Mr. Paradise, you need us to review the comments that were gone over and I think agreed upon last meeting. But if you want to share why we're doing it this way, please feel free.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. I sent y'all, I had hoped that I would have a clean draft of the development code that I could send you to look at with underlines and strike-throughs and that type thing. Me and the consultant, we bounced it back and forth, and it just wasn't happening. So I needed to get this out. So what I did was created this memo, and I can go back. I'm going to get me a copy of it that I can edit, and if you're okay with this wording, that's what will be put inside the code to move forward to city council, if that makes sense. It's just bouncing back and forth, you know. It wasn't working.
So basically, these are the recommended changes for us to approve as a planning commission.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Based on y'all's discussion last time, this is what I thought would reflect what y'all wanted. So if it's not what you want, please let me know so I can fix it.
So then let's start there first. Does anyone have any recommended changes or anything that did not capture the spirit of what was decided upon in the last meeting? Okay, there being none, all right. Right. Okay. Okay,
And let me mention something to that. Whenever I drilled into it
yes,
and was trying to put the verbiage together, and I was thinking about what Mr. Harbison had said, I couldn't figure out a way to make it work with single-family attached and commercial, and that's why I went with just the detached housing, because when you get lots that's 20, 25 feet wide and trees with 40 feet spacing, it just didn't work.
all right, thank you. Is there anything else? We'll open it up to see if there's public comment on that as well. All right. Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? All right, if there are any public comments with regards to the Development Code Rewrite memo, please come forward at this time. Okay. There being none, do we have a motion for the commissioners to approve the changes to the Development Code Rewrite as reflected in Memorandum 23-035, knowing that this will then go before council?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. So it's motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further conversation or discussion? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Thank you.
One question, who was that second? Okay. I know it was one of the two and
Brett,
couldn't.
yeah. Okay. All right. And for the last item, Mr. Paradise, we'd like your staff report, please.
Yes, ma'am. We are continuing to see growth in the residential. We looked today and we've done, I think it was 5 final plats during the summer months. We have on tap an application with, as you notice in here, the planned lots of 554. That was one application for Highland Springs, now known as Aladade. They're moving forward with that. And so we have several projects here that are making our numbers move. And we're seeing a lot of lots that's being created, and apparently there's a demand for those lots.
Well, again, we thank you and all those who work with you in the planning office for all that you all do every day for the city of North Augusta. All right. Are there any other questions, commissioners, for Mr. Paradise?
Tommy, any chance you could elaborate on the meeting the other day with the MEDAC, about the MEDAC building?
Yes, sir. We had a conditional use hearing for the MEDAC building to be used as a medical office. As I heard comments from the developer or the applicant. There was some of the public there. Nobody spoke in opposition. The infrastructure's there. The use fits in with the downtown area, and the conditional use hearing was approved.
Thank you.
All right, if there are no other questions or comments, I will, have a motion for adjournment. All right, and we adjourn the November 15th meeting of